One of the greatest movie villains of all time is the Emperor from Star Wars, better known as Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious. His iconicness has led to numerous Lego figures being made of him, some being good and some being bad. Today I'm going to be ranking every single Lego Palpatine minifigure ever made. Here are a few rules and pointers. First, I will be lumping some figures with slight variants together, as long as the variant isn't a drastic change or affects the figure a lot. Second, this list is all my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on which figures are the best and the worst in the comments below. Anyways, let's rank them up. Okay, so when I was making this video, I did realize there is a Palpatine figure coming out this year as a recording with a character encyclopedia book, but I decided not to include it in the ranking since as of making this video it hasn't released yet, so we don't know much about how it looks and all the features of it, but I think it's a pretty good looking figure. So it'll probably be ranked in the higher half of the list. The figure I put last was the first Palpatine figure ever made, coming out in 2000. This is a very basic version of the Emperor with a yellow skin tone that doesn't really match up with his look in the movie. There is some basic detailing on the torso, and he includes a cape as well as a hood piece, which replicates his outfit decently. I think the best part of this figure is the face though. They did a great job with the wrinkles and had a good amount of detailing. There's another version of this figure with black hands instead of yellow hands, but I lumped them together because of their similarity. This figure was a great stepping stone for future Palpatine figures to come, but despite its lackluster design. Next up, we have the Palpatine figure from 2006. He's pretty much the exact same as the previously mentioned figure, reusing all the parts except the face and hands. The only difference is that the face and the hands are now very gray, with a slightly altered face print. I do think the gray coloring is much better representative of Palpatine's look than the yellow skin. I really like how they emphasize the yellow Sith eyes on his face this time around. Besides that, it's another okay figure. Afterwards, Palpatine had his design revamped, which takes the next spot on this list. The figure has a slightly better detailed torso, capturing the robe of Sidious better. The best part of this minifigure though is the new face. There's a lot more wrinkles and detailing illustrating the Sith Lord's burns he got when fighting Mace Windu. I do really love the menacing look and the hollowness of the yellow eyes they added on this figure. A great update to the previous two, but still lacking in some detail. Next up, we may have a surprising choice for many. That's right, I'm putting the most recent version of Palpatine from 2023 at number 9. Don't get me wrong, the torso and leg printing are excellent. They capture the look of Emperor perfectly. The newer hood piece design also works well, but there's just one part of this figure that I can't get behind: the lack of pupils. The rest of the face is great with good coloring, but the plain yellow eyes just distract so much from the figure. If you want to learn more about the recent lack of pupils for Lego figures, check out the video on my channel where I explain the problem of no pupils recently. Anyways, if this figure had just included pupils, it could have been much higher on my list. Moving away from the Emperor look, our first Chancellor figure enters the number 8 spot. This is a Clone Wars version of the figure and it looks pretty good. I love the red outfit and the torso is designed well, which is elevated by the cloth shoulder pads that are included. The only part that brings this figure down is the face. While it does match the animated show pretty well, I'd feel that is a bit jarring and over exaggerated. It just takes a bit away from the figure. We would see much better versions of this figure in later years, but it was a decent start. At number 7, we have a figure which is strikingly different from the rest on the list: Holiday Palpatine from the 2023 Advent Calendar. This festive figure has a great sweater design on the rest on his torso of a Death Star and some lightning bolts surrounding it. However, this figure suffers the same problem as a previous one: the lack of pupils. Again, it just takes away so much from the figure. However, the fun and detailed sweater pattern makes this figure higher on the list than the other ones. The next spot on the list is taken up by the most common figure of Palpatine, the Emperor design with the tan face, which was introduced in 2014. There are a few slight variations to this figure, mainly just a different cape with different materials, which doesn't affect the figure all too much. The new design includes a much needed detail for Palpatine's robe, making him look so much better compared to the earlier figures on the list. I also think the new skin tone they picked matches the look in the films much better, and the facial expressions are much more menacing and haunting than the others. It actually has pupils this time, which is a plus, and they pretty much nailed the design of the Emperor look, but they did improve on it, leading us to number 5, which is pretty much the same exact figure from before, but with a newer hood piece. I feel like the newer hood mold works a lot better for this figure and adds some extra detail that was lacking on the previous one. I just think it perfects an already excellent figure that was dumbed down in recent years with the lack of pupils. Just missing out on the top 3, the next figure on the list may look similar to one you've seen before. You're right, this figure does have the exact same design for every part except the face as the 2014 one. The figure has a slight variant in the face, but I think it works so much better than the other face print on the previous ones. I just really love the style of the face with the evil grin expression and the eyebrows raised up. I think it looks pretty goofy, but also menacing at the same time, putting us higher up on the list. Starting out the top 3, we have the most recent Palpatine figure, the 2024 Chancellor Palpatine figure from the 2024 gunship. I do think the torso and leg printing are excellent and very detailed for this figure, and I really love how they went with a slope piece for the legs, which matches better to his clothing in the Clone Wars show. The face also is great and not as creepy as the Clone Wars version from before, capturing Palpatine's look well. The hairpiece was an interesting choice, and I do slightly prefer the one they use on the older Chancellor figures. Besides that though, it's an excellent figure. Coming in at number 2, we have the Grey Suit Palpatine from Episode 3. This is the only version of the figure that has ever been made and appeared in a set from 2014. I just love the detailing on the torso. The designers really went in depth with this figure, capturing every detail of the outfit from the movie. The face is also immaculate with an evil grin on one side and a more neutral expression on the other. It just captures Ian McDiarmid's look from the beginning of the third movie so well, and I hope to see a new version of this figure in the near future. And in the number 1 spot, we have the Chancellor Palpatine figure from the 2012 set, Palpatine's Arrest. Besides coming from perhaps one of the best Star Wars sets of all time, this figure just has some great detailing in general. The torso looks great, with the gold and dark red contrasting well with the lighter red that is printed on. The best part about this figure though is definitely the face. We've had an angry sneer on one side and a creepy Sith eyes face on the other, which even turns his teeth yellow and just looks really creepy but also awesome at the same time. The figure just has so much detail put into it and also had the benefit of coming from a great set. So, that is my ranking of every Palpatine figure completed. There have been several excellent Palpatine figures over the years, and with the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith arriving soon, I hope to see some new versions of Palpatine from that movie pop up. What are your opinions of my list, and which figure would you rank as the best? Tell me in the comments below, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share with others. Suggest to me what figures or other things you want me to rank next, and I'll see y'all in another video. Goodbye!